regulate the price, because if we have low cost houses scattered across, what it means is people have options. So if you are putting your rent, whatever you are putting it, I decide to go here, and then it would. But unfortunately, at this point, I don't think we've invested so much in that. And even beyond that, you still have to regulate. I'm wondering why same thing doesn't apply to rent in other parts of the country. There are some parts of the West is pretty cheap. The Southwest, I'm talking. Even in the Southeast, there are areas that are quite cheap. Like you have these areas that are quite cheap. So, what exactly would be the response of landlords or agents, house owners, property owners, hearing this news? What exactly would be their response? Are the lawmakers on the right? Because if the United Nations Habitat Agenda has said that people should have access to adequate and affordable housing, which is the basic human right, with the way we're going, it becomes even more and more difficult to have that. More and more difficult. You know how somebody tells you that self-contained is 1 million? They just say it as if 1 million is 100,000, that anybody can just go, and that's what they pay you as your salary at work. So 08179232 08179230. If government improves on affordable housing schemes, that would help. Of course, that would help, go a long way to help. If the people who are also going into the sector understand the laws and principles guiding it, because this is it. Reputable real estate firms that are also into this building and renting of properties give the same kind of thing. Many landlords that own buildings understand the how the business that they're in works. They just mainly focus on gather the profits we can gather as much as there's somebody to pay. And there's also the conversation that many landlords are targeting internet fraudsters to come get their houses, because these guys don't ask questions. They just pay whatever they are told. And at the moment, they are the ones that are everywhere. So that's the aim. That's their target market when their area very affordable standard structures cost certain amount for certain reasons, because they have adequate knowledge of this. That beautiful. It should not exceed 20% of the existing rent. I also think we should begin to visit the cost of the rent that it is now. As it is now, it needs to come down. Somebody cannot be renting a self-contained for 1 million. Something has to be done. I don't understand the level of greed, but something has to be done. JJ and Rumigbo, we'll start with you. Good morning.
Yeah, Andrew, good morning.
Yeah.
Andrew, I think there's something we are jumping. What we're jumping is, before you now talk about the 20%, how did the person who owns the house get the first rent you're paying?
Exactly.
It's just like you now living in Rumosi, right? How did your landlord calculate the rent you're paying? The next day said they want to increase, maybe with 20% with this law. How? But we must also be fair to everybody. You know that the self-contained in Rumokoro, for instance, and self-contained in OGRA may not
cannot be the same. True.
Like going to Lagos, a self-contained Ajegule and that of Ikoyi cannot be the same. So that said, this old jacking, everybody wants to make their money back immediately and all those. I don't get it. Andrew, in those days, thank God you grow up in Warri. There's no agent. What you see is somebody has backed out of this place. The landlord will go put one stick in the junction of that road and put
simple
like a small billboard in that flat and tell you there's a vacancy in Nigeria Info. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So how did we not leave all those things? Now want people who you don't even care about their identity. Take for instance, there's a law in Anambra State that if a kidnapper or a criminal is caught using the facility, they will demolish want to make sure that you check the background of those who are coming to live in your house, because those people also become your family member by extension. How about that, Andrew? Suddenly, we are bring the drink so that you use it to you and the family. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what we're doing now. We are not getting it right. Thank you.
All right, JJ, thank you. I think very critical is what you said. How do you arrive at the calculation for what your rent would be after building a property? How do you arrive at, okay, this is how much based on what I have spent and how long I'm looking at making back this money? This is how much I want to be charging as rent for a year. I remember how they used to say building a house for rent is a long-term business. It's not short. It's not instant money, get my money back business. If that's what you want, then this is not the business. That is not the aspect of the business you should go into. Eze Ken from Obimini, good morning.
Good morning, Ifiemi Andrew.
You're welcome.
Ifiemi, if I may ask, in which of the 36 states in Nigeria has each of the governors visited the old low-cost housing estates built before now or before this dispensation? How far has they renovated it and then built another is the cost of building? I don't know if you understand my question.
Yeah.
Because if you ask me, I will say that telling a landlord on how to receive his rentage or rent, I think we will go down to the government and ask them to introduce or establish a kind of agency for them to know where we have the ancient building or new modern building in this country, in weighing and assessing the kind of price or amount would a landlord or landlady receive from his or her tenant. I don't know if you are still understanding my question, Mr. Otherwise, let anybody who has the money to build and also know what he or she had suffered for his building and repeat. Many of our fathers who are on pension are relying on that rentage of 18. Thank you very much.
All right, Ezekiel, your logic makes sense, but let me apply your logic to another situation and then see how you react. So imagine that this logic you applied is what the market woman chooses to apply. She says, because I'm the one that have money to go and buy from the market, any price I want to sell it, I'll sell it. If you don't want to buy, go. I think many of us complain about rising cost of food. Oh, people, when it goes up, it don't come down. Or petrol. Imagine petrol and then they tell you, it's me that have my money to go and buy. Even when they tell us that they went to source for the product themselves and try to get it and struggle, we still say you cannot be selling at that price. They have to do something. It's that same thing we say. It's same logic. It's exactly the same logic. Just different circumstance, but the logic is the same. So if they apply same logic across every other sector, don't you think we're heading for chaos in the country? Victor Eniwofe, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much. I want to participate in this year talk. You see, we will have different people talking on this very issue. Tenants will debate, landlords will debate. So at the end, we will out of it. One, I'm completely against paying house rent monthly. Because if you want to pay house rent, if you make a law to pay house rent monthly, it will cause problem because government workers are not paid monthly. And take note that what is the age of landlords? Landlords mostly are people who are retired. So they manage to save their retirement benefits to build house. And it's from there they earn their living. If you don't pay them, they won't eat. That is one problem. One thing I want you to understand. By so doing, you will increase the cases in the court and in the police stations. Because the landlord expects that at the end of the day, the tenant should pay him so that he can feed his family. The the age of the landlord, it may be above 60 or 65. What happens when he goes to the clinic or to the hospital to see a doctor?
Victor, let's put it this way. What you're saying is you're very correct, by the way.
Because he has not been paid, the doctor should treat him free of charge. Or what about when he goes to the chemist to buy a drug? He should I'll give an example. I'm a